Division III really offers you a well-balanced education as well as a very competitive athletic experience. So that definitely was one of my top things. I was like, oh, I felt, there was more one-on-one connection with teachers. Coaches really got to know you. There wasn't much distractions, you really get to focus on what you really want to become in life. I mean, it's definitely been a roller coaster, First year I was here, it was like we won games and we were building the team up, and then this year definitely winning the ECFC championship. I mean, it felt amazing. It was just like watching us grow, and you're just like, wow, we came a long way and there's more to come, like we're not done here. Norwich definitely has this homey feel. You meet a bunch of people, you meet a bunch of players, just the network itself. You end up meeting so many people that end up impacting your life, and that really drew me closer to the school. Like my recruit, my overnight recruit, my host was amazing. Like him and I were like literally brothers, and that's what kind of drew me closer to the school. Also, the recruiting process was amazing. The coach that was recruiting me did an excellent job. He stuck with me all throughout high school, kind of stayed in touch, talked to me like I was an actual person, like more than just a player. That was great. It's gonna be crazy, honestly. Norwich has a lot to offer: education, athletics, and obviously in the future, you have more of a future when you come out of Norwich itself. As far as being an athlete, a student athlete, it's hard. Communication is key. I mean, the more you communicate, the more everyone stays on the same page. Just putting the effort, never giving up. There's gonna be people along the way that's gonna like push you and strive you to reach success. I mean, that's great. I mean, that's why Norwich is who Norwich is. This is Norwich, like selling Norwich to you. That's how I said Norwich.
So when I was looking at colleges back last year, I wanted a nice mix of academic and athletics. And looking through Division I, Division II, and Division III, I found the best fit with Division III because it allowed me to compete in swimming as well as focus on getting my major and then focusing on a career down the road. With our ROTC, I have to attend a few more classes. We have an extra lab, which is basically our military training, and that's once a week. And that just kind of gets piled on top of everything else that you would do as a normal college student. When you're in the thick of it, when you're in the grind, you really don't look at it as extra. It's just one more thing you got to do. Yeah, it just becomes a routine, a habit that you do, that you have to go through. So it's really nothing extra. It's just something you got to do. Time management's a huge thing, especially in college. It's a different step from the high school component. When you're going through it, you got to manage athletics, academics, and then the ROTC and the core stuff. So in doing so, you got to find that time where you got to sit down and you got to do your work for school, and at the same time, you got to make sure you're going to practice, make sure you're getting your work done in the pool, getting to the weight room, and being at the best you can be for athletics. I chose to come to Norwich because of the challenges that it puts forth. From day one, you're held to a higher standard. There's a lot more pressure put on you, and they expect a lot more out of you, and that was appealing to me. I didn't want to go and be the normal college student where you come home on the weekends, you go off with your friends, you party and whatnot. I want to go to a school that would challenge me academically, mentally, and physically, and I found that in Norwich, and that's why I chose to come here. The family aspect around athletics here is huge, and it's more than what I saw at any other school that I visited. The bonding that you have with your team, going in and being in season and out of season, is especially deep, and those are the guys you come to rely on. And when you start getting down, when everything starts getting, when it feels like stuff starts hitting the fan, that's one of the main attractions that I had to the athletic department at Norwich. It's those challenges that you come to rely on the people around you, and you come to learn how to work as a team to get through different obstacles, whether it's on the field, on the court, in the pool, or in the classroom. You learn how to rely on the people around you to help push not only yourself but each other forward to accomplish the goal.
I played field hockey in high school, and I played for 12 years, so I was really looking to play in college. And then I found Norwich, and I was more interested in pursuing my career rather than just trying to go to school to play field hockey. But I did miss the team aspect a lot, so when I came to Norwich and I found out that I could have a chance to play on the women's lacrosse team, I jumped right on that. And I'm really glad that I made the decision to try out the sport during the fall of my freshman year and continue on with it because it's been very rewarding. My freshman and sophomore year was a lot easier to get to lacrosse practice and not have to worry about other things, but as soon as I became a first sergeant for a Rook company this year, even during fall ball I had a really hard time getting to those fall ball practices. So when second semester came around, I knew it would definitely be a challenge, but it's been rewarding because it teaches me time management better than I think anything else could, because the Rook first sergeant position is basically like a full-time job. And so playing a sport and taking the time out of my day to do something for myself and for the team and to get an exercise in is actually really helpful for me mentally and physically. I feel very honored to be selected as a regimental commander. It is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I was pretty surprised when I got selected. I knew any of us had a good chance, and I'm very excited to start the journey. I've already began learning about some of the processes, and it's going to be really rewarding to be able to implement my ideas and help change the Corps of Cadets even more than I've tried to this year. And being selected as a female is really fantastic because it kind of gives a chance to represent the other females on campus and prove that we can do the same things and it is possible, and it all works with a level head and a great attitude. In 2012, my brother graduated here from Norwich University, and that's when I first found my interest in the school. I began to look at it more, and I at first didn't think that I was going to come to a military college, and when I began to look into it more, I realized that this school has so much to offer for me. I definitely had to jump on the opportunity of applying, and I believe that it was the best decision I've ever made in my life because it's so rewarding every day to be able to wake up and be treated as an adult every single day and to have the challenges that any adult would face throughout their life right here at my fingertips. I'm pushed every day to succeed, and I'm pushed every day to try my hardest, and learning these things while I'm at school is something that I don't think I would be able to get anywhere else. Being a student athlete is nice because it's like an out. You get to escape from a lot of problems, or if you're having a hard day, you can go to practice or go to a game and you're able to unwind and focus on that one thing, whether it's a practice or a game, and you're provided with a group of close people that you're going to be friends with and that are there to support you. So it's really nice to have another family somewhere else that understands what you're doing because they also play a sport and they're also a student at the same time. It's really rewarding.
I never really thought it was an option. I went through high school playing volleyball. I played in middle school and high school. So with going to college, I kind of felt like volleyball was implied. But at the same time, I think I wanted something that was going to give me more of a challenge and a group to be a part of on campus. So it was a good transition from being a 18-year-old high school student to coming to college and knowing no one and having a group of girls who are really close-knit. This is a common question that I kind of joke about that I haven't figured it out yet, but I think it's taken a while to figure out how to have Army, nursing, and volleyball work together. And I've definitely made mistakes along the way. I've missed appointments, I've missed practice for things, I've double booked, but I think you eventually get into a system where, mine is I have a planner that I have to write everything out and cross it out as I do it. So you get into a system and you figure it out along the way, but nobody's perfect and we all make mistakes. So I think Norwich has opened a lot of opportunities for me. I definitely would not have been involved in the things that I am at a civilian school The people I've met, the connections I've made, all the experiences I've had, I think have shaped me in one way or another. And I mean, putting on this uniform for the first time was the most terrifying thing I did my sophomore year. And now I do it on a weekly basis and it's no big deal. But each experience I've had with the Army or nursing or volleyball, I think has made me grow in some little way. And now I have an opportunity to go to air assault school, so I'm leaving in a couple weeks for that. So I never would have done that if I was not at Norwich. So after college now, I have to pass my boards and get a job and continue to drill with the National Guard. And I never would have had those opportunities if it wasn't for Norwich. Norwich is definitely a unique school. I think everybody here made the decision to trade in the frats and sororities for combat boots and ACUs. And it's not your typical college. I mean, people wake up at 5 in the morning and go for formation, and people are all, like, my schedule is pretty typical for everybody here. Everyone has a crazy schedule. I chose to come here because, well, I was introduced to the school from my grandfather. He graduated in 1960. And I said, well, I guess I'll look at the school, give it a shot. And I came here, and the first thing I noticed was the campus. I mean, it's gorgeous. And then I noticed the family, like my grandfather's classmates and all the faculty and alumni, and everybody is one family, and I loved that. And I felt like I come from a small town on the Cape, and I was scared to move to college and start that process, but having a close-knit group like at Norwich, I was comforting. I would tell a prospective athlete that when you're choosing a school, it's important to choose a school that's going to make you into the person that you want to be one day. And Norwich is definitely a place that's going to do that. You are always challenged, and it takes an incredible amount of strength to make it through a four-year school like this. And by the end of it, you're a completely different person than when you started. So I think if someone is looking for an option like that, I think Norwich is definitely the place to be.
This video was produced by Norwich Athletic Communications.